the idea would be to add to point 3.6, specifically to 6.3, to define what serious misconduct is for members. And that would be to violate Wasli's rules or work against Wasli's objectives, both of which are defined in the governing document and the internal rules and guidelines, which will soon be appearing. So we want to define how things can go wrong with ordinary members, also how things can go wrong with members of the executive board. So in point 10.10, which is about vacancies and exclusions from the executive board, we wanted to add that if any member of the executive board violates Wasli's rules or works against Wasli's objectives or neglects the duties of office, and all of those things are defined in the governing document, the internal rules and the guidelines, then that officer may be removed from the executive board. This is just a way of making sure that if things aren't working, then the Wasli board has a means of solving that problem. So in order to do that, the executive board will notify the officer in question and will inform the membership, so there's complete transparency and so that the membership who make up Wasli know exactly what is going on. And as a result, there will be a vacancy in the board, so the executive board will send out a call for nominations to fill the vacancy, as is the normal procedure. And then the normal procedure will come into play, and if, for example, there are no nominations, then as the governing document defines, the Wasli board can nominate at its own discretion. So that would be to cover the case of an officer in the executive board. So I'll remind you that the officers are the president, the vice president, the secretary, and the treasurer. I don't think I'm missing anyone there. And the other members of the board are the regional representatives. So basically, the situation for the regional representative will be identical, except for the fact that in order to agree upon the removal of a regional representative who is not fulfilling their duties as defined in the governing document, the executive board would obtain the consensus of that region's members, so the eligible voting members from that region. So again, it's to guarantee transparency and to ensure that the affected members are in accordance with this decision. So this is just a proposal in order to guarantee the correct working of Wasli. I mean, I'm sure all of you know that working in any association, problems can come up, and often they're problems that are very difficult to solve. I think if we have this framework, it would help us to make the process a lot smoother and help to ensure that we don't have problems like the ones we've seen this morning, where we have 4 years with no accounting paperwork.
Okay, thank you, Brendan. I think that was a very clear explanation of the amendment to the proposal which has been put forward by Spain. Does anyone have any questions or wish to comment further? Would you come to the front? We are happy to take comments from the floor, but just a reminder that only members approved for voting will be able to vote on this.
Okay, my name is Tintinat. Okay, my name is Tintinat. I just want to comment. Okay, I'm from Nigeria. My proposal is, though not written, but I want to make a viable proposal to those that will be eligible to vote. That in respect of Article 10, we're talking about regional representatives. We've shared our concern with the challenges that are more peculiar to Africa, and looking at the context of how the continent is. It's big and it's multicultural. We felt that a single representation might not be able to cover all the activities of the continent, which will also bring the failure of the regional representative if elected. So we are looking at the future of this document having a supportive volunteers or officers that can support the African regional representative to be able to do his work by making contributions to the development of the profession in general. Thank you.
Thank you, Nigeria. I think that was very helpful to let people in the room understand the particular difficulties experienced within Africa. At the moment, all we can do is look at the amendment to the proposal that has been put forward. I think your proposal is a new proposal, and that proposal I think will have to be submitted to the next general meeting. In the meantime, I think the executive board will consider what you've said and see what can be done. But to make that change, it is a new proposal which will have to go through the process. But thank you for sharing that, because I think that was important for us all to understand. For the moment, can I ask if the amendment proposed by Spain is acceptable? Are there any other comments or questions? I think UK?
Hi, I'm Sarah Haynes from the UK. 2 points, just really about the wording, I think, of Spain's amendment. I think it's good that we have this amendment that makes things more transparent. So thank you to Brendan. Firstly, in the section about members, and can we just go back to that? Thank you. I think it may be useful to have something that says about a right to appeal. If somebody is accused of serious misconduct, do they have any right to appeal? It may be that the constitutional document needs to say the board's decision is final, there is no right to appeal. That would be simple, but I think it would be good to have something that talks about the right to appeal. Secondly, in relation to removals from the executive board, I just want to make sure that it's clear in terms of just the wording, that it says at the moment in 10.10.2, there it says the executive board will notify the officer in question and will subsequently inform the membership of this action. The original amended governing document that Zain has proposed says that 2/3 of the member countries need to approve any removal from the executive board. So to subsequently inform the membership seems a little bit unclear. It is the countries that choose to remove somebody from the executive board, in my understanding of the original governing document. So can we just clarify that. I hope that's clear.
Okay, thanks, Sarah. I'll respond first to your second point, and then the first point. So the second point, I think you've made something very clear that is part of this proposal, and part of this proposal is giving the board the power to act. Because Wasli is an organisation that meets every 4 years, it's a very disbanded organisation. The members of the board are from all over the planet. The members of the national members are obviously from all over the planet. I think we need to adopt a framework that will allow the board immediate action. And I think that when, as members, we vote for the board, we need to be putting our trust in people who can take that action, and we know that they're going to do that in the association's best interest. If we keep the idea that there needs to be 2/3 approval from the voting members, that will mean some sort of extraordinary general members meeting or a consultation via email, and it's just creating a prolongation of the process that will mean the problem isn't solved as quickly as it could be. So part of this proposal is saying we're putting the trust in the board to identify a problem, which we've clearly identified what sort of problems can happen, and to take action. So you're right, we're making an important change here. It's no longer going to be in the hands of the members to vote on this. It's going to be in the hands of the board, but I think that's an important transfer of decision, and it's one that Spain thinks is important given the context of the last 4 years. Given that we can see that sometimes things can go wrong, and it would be good to be able to fix that. To answer your first point, you're completely right. A process of appeal would be a very good thing to contemplate. I guess we didn't do it here because it didn't occur to us, and I suppose perhaps, but I'm not sure I'll ask the board on this, it's maybe going to be contemplated in the internal rules and guidelines. Maybe that's the place for it. So again, as the point makes reference to the internal rules and guidelines, there will be a more formalised means of deciding what exactly constitutes serious misdemeanour and how that's decided and who decides. So yeah, it's a very good point.
Sarah, are you happy with it? Okay, thank you very much. Any other comments before we move on? Okay, I'll take 2 comments